Namaste, sir. Namaste, everyone. We are Team 7 and we are here to present about the case called Salmon versus Salmon. So, the slide introduced the Salomon Principle, which is a fundamental concept in the company law. It originated from the House of Lords judgment in the case Salmon versus Salmon Company Limited in the year 1897. The case firmly established the principles of the corporate personality, which means a company is recognized as a separate legal entity from its owner or its shareholders. So, what are the key factors of this case? So, Mr. Salman owned a business and later he incorporated it, transferring the business to the company structure. So, he held the majority of the shares and with the remaining shares distributed among his family members to meet the legal requirements for the incorporation. So unfortunately, the company failed, or eventually it got bankrupt. Then the creditors tried to sue or the punish Mr. Salman personally for the company's debts. So the court ruled that the company was a separate legal entity, and therefore Mr. Salman was not at all responsible, or he was liable for the company's debts. So the summary of these points are the case that sets that critical precedent that companies have their own legal identity distinct from their shareholders.
This slide, this slide explains the Salmon versus Salmon Limited, the principles applied in the formation of the company. The first step is promotion, the idea development. This is where the idea for the company is conceived. The next is initial actions by promoters. Promoters are individuals who take the first actions to set up the company. They do activities like preparing necessary documents, raising the initial capital money required for the company. The second is step incorporation. Legal creation of the company. The company is officially registered with the government authority. Two important documents are needed is Memorandum of Association. This outlines the company's constitutions like its name, purpose and the powers. The second is Articles of Association. These set the internal rules for running the company such as management process and the member rights. The third one is certification of incorporation. The first one is in that approval. After the documents are checked and accepted, a certificate is issued. The next is legal status. The company now legally exists as a separate legal person, meaning it is independent of its founders or members. In this slide, I am explaining about what is legal personality and how legal personality is implemented in this case, which is Salmon and Salmon. Now, what is legal personality is a company is a legal person once incorporated and it can own property, sue and be sued, exist independently for its shareholders and directors. Let us know what is company is a legal person and once incorporated. Legal personality means when a company is incorporated, it is recognized by the law as its own entity like a separate person. It can be own property, sue and be sued. This allows the company to own assets in its own name, enter the contracts and take legal actions and be sued, if necessary, completely independent of the individuals who founded or managed it. Exist independently from its shareholders and directors. Even if the shareholders or the directors change, the company continues to exist unless it is formally closed. The key case that explains this concept is Salmon and Salmon Co Limited, where the court firmly that a company has a separate legal entity for its owners. The company once registers as its own legal identity, separate from its Salmon and Salmon, even though he owned and contributed it. It could own property, incur debts, and be sued independently, a principles still used today. Thank you.
Hello, myself Harshavardhan. This slide discusses the famous Salomon versus Salomon and Company Limited case from 1897. Mr. Salomon had incorporated his own business, making it a limited company, where he himself was the main and particular the only shareholder. However, when the company later went to bankrupt and creditors tried to the Mr. Salomon personally recover their money. The court ruled that the company was the separate legal entity from the Mr. Salomon himself. This case important because it firmly established the principle that the company as the own legal personally uh, separate from the owners of the shareholders. and Mr. Solomon incorporated business. This established the initial action taken by Mr. Solomon. He was previously running his business as a sole trader and decided to convert into limited liability company. This process of incorporation in central to the case. And the next one is he was the main shareholder. This highlights is a crucial aspect of the company structure. While the company was legally as a separate entity after incorporation, Mr. Solomon held that vast majority, if not all of the share. Is this raises the question about the genuineness of the separate between him and his company. And the next one is company went to bankrupt and creditors issued him. This describes the unfortunate turn of the events that led the legal dispute of the newly incorporated company faced financial difficulties and became a involvement of a bankrupt. And the court held is company is separate from Solomon. This is the core outcome and the endorsing the significance of the Solomon case. Thank you.
Hi, in this slide I explain about the importance of the Salomon Principle law, impact of the internship, impact of the importance in the practical practitioner of personal assets, limited shareholders limited their investments and principles of worth in the business debits and legal actions. The next encouragement and investments of the entrepreneurship, reducing the risk attract the investment investors and inspire entrepreneurships to start the new venture basing the economic growth. Fundamental and corporate law and limited liability. Service as a corner and modern business strategies enable to companies to operate the effectively and responsibility within a law legal format. Thank you.